Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scam Economy post-show, where we can talk whatever you'd like, honestly. Can talk the episode, crypto, Web3, NFTs, or none of the above, and we could treat this just like in any other Matt Binder live stream, like when I do Doomed and talk about what's going on in the world, talk about politics, news, etc., 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 etc. But, right now, the phone lines are open, and I want to quickly thank all the people who, over the past week or so, became patrons at patreon.com/MattBinder. I said earlier on Tuesday during the Doomed live stream that, it's the beginning of the month, and every time we hit the beginning of the month on Patreon, that's when they start charging people, and it so happens that cards get declined, cards expire, some people have to cancel. And so, beginning of the month, as always, we see a drop in subs on the Patreon page. But I mentioned it, and people joined, and now we are back on track to hitting those goals. In fact, we are less than 25 patrons away from hitting 400 patrons. That's patreon.com/MattBinder. And let me give a little shout out to the people who joined since the last episode of Scam Economy. We got, here we go. Inertia Status, Foodatron, PDA, Brittany A, Stephen P, Andrew, Ent, Oz D, Chuckles B, and Jason S. Thank you all so much for becoming patrons. It is with your support I can not only do this show, but I will be able to grow this show. So thank you, everybody. Also, we got... all right, before I hit up the... let me take the phone. Let's go to the phones before I thank the Twitch streamer, the Twitch viewers and subscribers over on Twitch. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? I did not get a chance to read through it. You wanna? I'm definitely going to. That could, from what I saw when I read your tweets about it, it seemed like that could possibly be a whole episode. But do you wanna give us a little summary? Wait, so what is this? What is this? What is going on here? Let's start with that. What is the what is, for people who don't? Oh, whoa, hold on, Renee. I'm sorry. Whoa, Renee. I'm sorry, Renee. You're gonna be so mad at me. You're gonna have to rewind. I forgot to turn your sound up for the stream. No one could hear you at all. Now they can. I'm so sorry, everybody. You were talking about the... all right, so to get everyone... all you missed was earlier today, Renee DM'd me a crypto-related story he had seen. He DM'd me the details on Twitter. I told him I saw what he tweeted about. I didn't get to dive into the links and the details of the story. Renee started telling me about some of the energy consumption related to this project. I said, hold up, Renee. You got to start at the very beginning. Give us a summary of what this company does, what's going on here. And that's all you missed. Renee's just about to get into it. Here we go.
Two things. One thing, Papa Binder, your son is the only person who isn't canceling me online, fortunately.
Uh-oh. Is there a reason? Is there people mad at you for good reason?
I don't know. I mean, it's like Frankenstein monster or Dracula, I suppose. The people with pitchforks and stuff like
All right,
that
let's get
outside
to
of the vampire castle.
let's get to
Now
the
the other thing is
go
like
ahead.
the weird thing is will Renee be able to do a summary? Right. Um,
Let's
basically
try.
they're based in Thailand.
Who's based in Thailand?
They're pouching people in Argentina.
Who?
Basically they
Who
were
are you
like
talking about?
poaching a friend of mine.
Renee, do you hear
That
me?
kind of like is like trying to
Renee?
get a job like overseas, like in things regarding like
Renee? Renee? Renee?
software industries and all
Renee?
that kind of things like web point 3.
Renee.
But basically she kind of like fills the kind of like the profile that somebody that's not very well politically aligned and kind of like checked out of the whole Chilean process of whether being on the left and the right. And she kind of like still like goes down the pathway of like hyper capitalism and all that, and tries to engage in somewhat of ecological scenario, I suppose, like, and also interested in indigenous rights or whatever, pacifism. So basically, these people are based in Thailand. What they're selling is that what they do is that they talk to companies, to corporations, and what happens is that they sort of like set up a system that if a corporation or a company is able to recycle their plastic and things like that, they get a score. Now, what they claim is that they take that plastic and transform it into bio-oil.
Renee, do you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
Who are you? I've been you couldn't hear me earlier.
The name of the company.
Yeah, who is this company? Give us some details about you. You so far have told us how they're in Thailand and they're poaching people from Chile, where you live.
No, Argentina.
Excuse me, Argentina, where you don't live. But give me what is the name of this company? What do they do? And what is the crypto angle here?
Well, like basically, whoa, Cyableman, what are you saying? Right. Okay.
Really, so Renee, really quick, those 3 questions.
Right.
Go ahead.
Basically, their name is Corsair. They're based in Thailand. They tried to do a whole thing about recycling with plastic. I'm done. They use that as like a kind of like a score credit regarding who recycles plastic. They say that plastic gets transformed into bio-oil, and then afterwards that score is used as a kind of like I guess what's it called, erythium, and that's the whole thing. That's used as like a crypto coin.
Okay.
Was that a summary?
Yes, that was, and that's perfect. And you did it.
Yeah, I work better under pressure.
Right. Maybe I need to because people in the chat are saying, "Damn, Matt, Sam Cedar would have shut Renee down like 20 minutes ago."
Yeah,
but
that's
maybe
what
maybe you're
like,
one of those,
right.
maybe you're one of those people who needs that. You know how there's some people who say like they need like to be like stringent rules that they have to follow, otherwise they just go off on a tangent. Maybe whenever Renee calls in,
but I mean,
maybe when Renee calls in, I gotta lay down the hammer and be like, "All right, buddy, you got 2 minutes." That was
right.
perfect.
And the other thing is the tune. I'm already finished like the bass line and everything like that. It's kind of like a electronic punk, so I think you might like it. Shout out to the people I'll be working with Miss Heathen, who even though like froze me out and said that didn't mention that I was working with her. I'll be working on the theme tune for her. For you, and I'll also be working with Rumor. Peace out.
All right, have a great night, Renee. Take care. There we go. That he was able to give us a brief summary of this company in about less than 2 minutes. This is something I have to look further into. It seemed very interesting in terms of what Renee sent me in the DMs when he was getting me on the up and up with this story. Phone lines are open. Open Skype Search Doomed Live, one word, Doomed Live. I will take your calls as they come in. We'll go about an hour and a half. Already got. Look who's calling in. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
G'day, Matt. It's John from Australia. How you doing?
Hey, John from Australia. Let me just tell you, I saw your name, and you haven't called in about, I think it's been close to 2 months. But hold whatever thought you were calling in for. I was just listening to our last call earlier today because I was clipping your call and that call that you called in the last time to bring up from February, from that person who had staked their money in Celsius and called into the show, of course, months before Celsius would go bankrupt. And I'm taking those two calls to put together for an episode when I am away for a week. So I saw your name come up and I was like, I just heard this guy's voice earlier today.
Well, that's great to hear. That's awesome. I have no idea how that call managed to sit in the back of my brain for that long to be able to recall it so quickly. But there you go.
What's crazy is like when you were telling me about the call, I did not know what call you were talking about, and I assumed it was like some full-on crypto guy who was like arguing the pro crypto like full board, like a fully on board crypto advocate who was arguing with me. And then I went to listen to the call today for the first time. And it was a guy who was a fan of the Majority Report and bringing up how like Sam and myself were, critical in his political growth, and how he just like thought we were dropping the ball, like the left or progressives were dropping the ball on crypto. And he wasn't even fully like gung-ho about it. He was just like, it's a thing, it's taking off, and I feel like I have to get on board or I'll lose out. And one of the things he got on board was staking his crypto via Celsius. And then I felt really bad, much worse than I felt when I just assumed this was like a guy trying to sell me on Celsius. No. I wish he would call in. I'm not even like to dunk on him or be like, I told you, because it wasn't like that at all. I hope he calls in because I want to know, so it could be like, a warning to people that like these companies, maybe not Celsius and Voyager in name or even leadership, but the idea of crypto lending companies are far from dead, and more companies will pop up, and people should stay away.
Yeah. Yep. That it honestly, it really does. Like listening back to it really did hurt. Like the thing that really struck me and sort of hit hard was that I remember being in the audience when that call was happening. I remember being in chat, and at that time, Celsius had already been like hacked, quote unquote. They'd already lost a bunch of funds because one of their employees had signed into one of the massive company custodial wallets, as in the account with all of the money in it, had signed into that with MetaMask on just their computer.
Right. You had mentioned that in the call,
and
right?
Had been scammed. Yeah.
Right.
That had happened before the caller called in. So I'm in the chat sort of screaming like, caller, please, like, take your funds out while you can. This is not a reputable organization. Like, if they're able to just like log into the company bank account and get hacked like so easily, this is not the space that you want to be playing in. This is not what you want to be advocating for. You got to take, if you're on top, amazing, perfect, cut and run. And I sincerely do hope that they manage to. Right.
I'm assuming, though, you didn't call in to talk about the last time you called in, which was to talk about a call you remembered from February.
Yeah, it was just every call getting increasingly meta. No, what I was going to call in about was something a little bit closer to home something a little bit closer to home for me, which is related to an industry that I have a lot of connections to, which is the games industry, and based in Australia. So a company that's quite popular and is quite sort of a known name in the crypto scene is an Australian company based in Sydney called Immutable. That name might sound familiar if you've been following this space. They were in partnership, quote unquote partnership, with TikTok to deliver their TikTok related NFTs. They were in partnership, quote unquote partnership, with GameStop in order to develop the GameStop marketplace.
Right. Okay.
Now their primary role is they run a side chain. Their own little private blockchain that they do stuff on and offer it as a product, a platform, APIs, all of this stuff. But not only that, they're also a pretty heavy investor in the space. They've gotten a lot of funding coming into them from places like Alameda Research, so Sam Bankman-Fried, who everyone should know as the main guy from FBX. FBX, is it FBX? FTX.
FTX, yes. I
FTX,
had a mental
sorry.
block for a second because I was trying to remember which one of the crypto lenders, because we had talked about Alameda a couple episodes ago. I can't remember if they were if they were owed money by Voyager or Celsius. I want to say Voyager, but I'm not 100% sure. I can't recall. It's in one of the episodes. It's in one of the episodes.
They could be owed money by Voyager. They could be owed money by Celsius. They could be owed money by Three Arrows Capital. It could be anyone, right? Like this whole industry is incredibly intermixed.
It's incestual, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if it was all of the above, but yeah. So Immutable is the GameStop NFT marketplace is interesting. I haven't followed it too closely. It seems like even the people in the already existing NFT space find it bizarre because it exists in its own little world. Like I had seen chatter in NFT circles, like actual people who regularly are in the NFT space on like OpenSea, and they were like, I saw them like mocking the top selling NFT projects on the GameStop marketplace because it was like, who are these guys? Where did they come from? These people aren't part of like the NFT community. We've never heard of them before. And these were like major names in the NFT space, I think. That's all I really know of GameStop, that there's something, they like live in their own bubble in the space. But what were you going to say about Immutable?
So this company is known for a couple of things, and as I said, they've gotten a lot of funding coming in, and they've started sort of handing out their own funding. They're doing the sort of the same thing as Andreessen Horowitz A16Z, running their own sort of Web3 gaming play to earn incubator funds in order to sort of entice existing game studios into doing more Web3 related content. The reason why I call up about this particular company is because they have a game that has been around for quite some time, and I think maybe just after the original launch of CryptoKitties on the Ethereum blockchain, which I think it was around 2018. So they're an older NFT project. It's a trading card game you play online. The cards are NFTs, right? They, I think in June this year, announced that they'd received $500 million in funding. So a significant chunk of change.
Right.
In July,
to say the least,
just gone.
I almost feel like significant chunk of change is downplaying it.
Yep, and I think late last year they received another $200 million in funding. They are like awash with cash. In July this year, July just gone, they sacked 17% of their workforce. And in particular, from the articles that I've read, the most heavily impacted team was the Gods Unchained, which is this play-to-earn NFT card game, although I suspect they would probably rebuff the play-to-earn moniker now. The only people left in that team now, according to articles about this, are C-suite, so chief of whatevers, and junior staff. So all of their senior team, their long-term members, all that sort of stuff, they're gone. Developers gone. They've just got juniors and they've got execs. In fact, they did a massive. They hired on this year, I think something like six people into their C-suite. Chief of Vibes, chief of whatever, all of these different Web3 related titles. Chief of not losing the company treasury to a MetaMask hack or whatever these titles are. And they plan on, in the next year, growing their player base from a speculated 10,000, because they, to my knowledge, the numbers aren't public, to multiple millions with a team of juniors.
I mean, where did the money go? What are they doing?
Where did the multiple hundred millions of dollars go in the last 6 months or 9 months or something?
I'm actually, like, as you're talking to me, I'm like searching here to find out what's going on here, and I can't find it. Like, first of all, for a company that has received that much money in funding, very little media coverage, and you know, that's unusual. You know, I don't even see like a. I don't know. Let me see if I type it in straight up. Yeah, I guess there's some coverage. They're valued at, but none of the coverage is about the most recent stuff. It's about their valuation of $2.5 billion in March of 2022. I mean, that makes them a unicorn in the tech space. That's, and then here, okay, I see 1, 2, 3, but these are all, and then only the gaming space I see, and then here's one crypto article, Bitcoin from Bitcoinist. But other than that, here's a gaming space seems to be covering this more so about the layoffs.
Yep.
Well, I mean, something's not right. Something's off.
No, and so the one sort of thing that and it is mentioned in the articles.
2 weeks ago, they put out a press release from the PR Newswire. Immutable hires Polygon exec to level up layer 2 marketing. So they're hiring, you know, bigwigs over from other blockchain networks.
Yes,
and then a couple weeks later, laying off. Here we go. This local Australian news coverage from news.com.au. Aussie company sacks staff in 30 minutes. Australian crypto platform Immutable sacks 6% of staff despite plans to hire aggressively. The company, valued at a whopping $3.5 billion, let go 17% of its staff from one division in a devastating decision as the union raises concerns. Yeah, something is weird.
Yeah, that's the next part of this story. Props to the Australian Game Workers Union, Game Workers Australia, which is the freshly formed as of this year union in Australia for the games industry, who are working with staff who were laid off to look at their legal options and perhaps maybe press this point a little bit, because there's a lot of suspicion around the fact that they've let go all of these staff very, very quickly, made them redundant, which is a specific term that has very specific meaning in terms of employment as to what your entitlements are and how you're let go and all of sort of this sort of thing. The main sort of red flag here is that they are hiring still, and that they are hiring for positions that look very similar to the ones that they just let these people go for. Now, if we're going to get into a little bit of speculation, because I don't want to speak about the specific case too much, but if we look at things like in the US, which I'm happy to speculate about, Coinbase and all of the exchanges, Kraken and the like, that recently, I think a couple of months ago, the reporting was that they were rescinding offers that they had sent out. They were getting rid of staff left, right, and center. the suspicion and the general suspicion is amongst skeptics that they're letting these staff go because these people were hired during the bull run for very generous remuneration packages. Now that we are in the bear market, they don't want to keep paying these people's salaries at the rate that they are at. The offers that went out when the market was quite high, they are rescinding those because they want to rehire at much lower rates.
That's obviously speculation because we don't have any concrete evidence that that's the fact, but I think that's a very well-educated guess because it seems quite accurate based on what we do know has been going on elsewhere in the space.
Yeah, yep. And again, as I say, I don't want to talk too much about this specific case because I'm a little closer to it. But what I will do is, if you're particularly interested, I'll DM you a couple of articles from some reputable games press in Australia that have done a bit of digging on this.
Yes, please do. And if you know anyone specific to talk to about this, because in addition to the bit of news that just happened in terms of the layoffs and everything, it would be very interesting to dig into Immutable in general based on their involvement with the GameStop NFT marketplace.
Yeah, and I think that there would be, so I think that's definitely something worth looking into because not only Immutable, but companies like Immutable, I think, is a particularly interesting case because they seem to have their name tied to a lot of projects that no one can really tell what they've actually done. So they do these big TikTok, it's a TikTok NFT partnership, but where are these TikTok NFTs? What did they actually do? No one really knows, but the announcement got so much press and their token absolutely was spiked on all of these press announcements. But
wait, hold on. This is hilarious. Hold on. All right, so all these new, I'm looking up TikTok and Immutable, and it seems like all these press releases came out in like September, and late September, early October 2021. So almost a year ago now. And on Immutable's website, they have like TikTok.immutable, and it consisted of auctions for it looks like NFT art that comes from various TikTok creators. Oh, look who's there, Gary V. Amazing. But there you go. Honestly, it seems like it's mostly people like Gary V and other names in the NFT space. Not really many. Someone named Coin Artist, XOR, Jess the Mess, RTFKT. I mean, maybe some of these people are TikTok names, but some of these I recognize from the NFT space. But okay, so timeline here is for all this. TikTok even posted it on their newsroom page as an official TikTok press release. TikTok launches first creator-led NFT collection. But then we have fast forward to December, and TikTok shelved Lil Nas X's NFT over, I guess, it was announced, and Lil Nas's fan base, who doesn't seem like they'd be too into NFTs, complained, and so he wanted to cancel it.
Very, very sort of quietly kind of pulled that, yes.
An NFT collaboration, this is from The Fader, an NFT collaboration between TikTok and Lil Nas X will no longer be released. Oh, and they sourced it to the Rolling Stone. The digital art was set to be revealed, but sources close to TikTok tell Rolling Stone that the program's rollout has been a challenge, a mess, and a complete joke. I mean, it sounds like it might be a little bit more than just...
Sounds like the work of a $2 billion valued company for sure.
Right. Oh, boy. Oh, this is... Oh my God. Amazing. Truthfully amazing.
So that is definitely something worth looking into. Having a look at Immutable and companies like them who get into these very they're sending out PR blasts about their partnerships and all this sort of stuff, and they just so happen to have a governance token that spikes in value, and then the actual product that they supposedly are going to partnership with or deliver kind of just fizzles out and turns into nothing. Very similar to the helium and lime story that you so fantastically broke last episode. Great job on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's that's it's the whole fake it till you make it mentality has always been a part of like not even just like tech startup culture, but like the gross like online entrepreneur culture. I'm sure it goes even further than just even online. I'm sure there's been like, construction businesses for years, like, talking up some sort of partnership they had with a major like Fortune 500 company that they really didn't have, or had some like barely like they worked with like an employee's home and said they worked with their company or something. I'm sure there's always been some sort of that going on. But like I think I said this on I might not have, but I think I said this on that episode. But how like the reason why this is so problematic here is, in the Web3 space, the users aren't just using these platforms, and then if the platform fails, it's c'est la vie. Maybe I lost some posts, but I had no financial investment. That's not the case here. The users in any of these Web3 projects at some level have made a financial investment, and they did not get a product or service in return. Their financial investment was made in this company on the basis that they would make money off of whatever they put into this company.
Absolutely, and to tie it into the topic of today's show, something I only managed to catch maybe the last 10-15 minutes of the show. I'll be looking forward to going back to it and watching again. But something that the guest mentioned that I sort of maybe disagree with a bit is that they said that they believed that SpiceDAO did want to do, right by this work, right? That they wanted to preserve it and all of this thing. And I thought, I've been following SpiceDAO sort of towards the beginning, and I've also followed Constitution DAO as well. And I would argue that, you could probably say that of the rank and file retail investors, the people buying the token. I think that they're probably, yes, they see something there. They believe in the preservation of this work or whatever, what have you, right? Some of them perhaps. The people running the project, absolutely not. I absolutely reject the notion that they give any, like they absolutely don't care. If you look at the actions of the group, right? Their proposed projects, their proposed things that they were planning on doing with it. Oh, they're going to have it at Comic-Con and someone's going to be there and turn in the pages so you can see it. Or you're going to be able to do this, or you're going to be able to do that, right? Everything that they proposed was with the express or sometimes not expressed intent of spiking the value of the token. Everything they did. There was no talk of, we're going to like preserve this work. We're going to have it archived. We're going to do this. No. None of that. It was all, we're going to make a movie. We're going to make more money. The token's going to go through the roof. And no one mentioned financial returns. I can't say, please don't say security. Please don't say dividends. Please don't say, this, that's FUD. Please don't, no FUDding. But we're gonna make it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna make this funny. We're gonna get this person involved. We're gonna get that person involved. Grimes is gonna do the soundtrack. Can you imagine the hint, the unsaid thing through every single one of these announcements is, and can you imagine the spice that you've got, the SpiceDAO tokens that you've got? Can you imagine the value that's gonna go when Grimes is doing the soundtrack for our Dune-inspired anime? You're going to 10x overnight. That's the unsaid implication of every single one of those announcements.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that is a great point, and you know what? I tend to agree with you. I think I think it's easy, I guess, to if you're a fan of Dune and sci-fi, I guess, taking that what they were doing, even stepping out. Like, my guest covered this for months, and she was her reporting on this was great. But I guess even on that aspect, like I guess if you're a fan of like take the crypto away, if you're the fan of this sort of thing in like this the I'm not even talking about crypto space, in like the geek space. People enjoy their sci-fi and their classic science fiction epic dramas, and I think maybe you would hope that if someone is getting involved on something that in that space that you also love, that they have the best intentions, and maybe some of the people did. I would hope myself, but yeah, without a doubt, if once the crypto people got involved, then clearly that's what they care about. I mean, they didn't care about Dune. They cared about spike in the value of that coin, spike in the spice.
Yeah, and no, and I don't want that to come across as me sort of disrespecting your guest. I've
Oh
been
no,
following
I
it,
don't think so.
covering it absolutely. Like props to them, props to everyone who covers this space. But it's those little things like that where I'm sort of like, I don't know, we're giving them a little bit too much of the benefit of the doubt here, or that sort of thing. I've taken up too much of your time already. I want to leave you with one more thing. That is what feels like a decade ago. Ubisoft announced an NFT program that they were doing with a popular video game series called Rainbow Six.
They're doing Rainbow Six NFTs.
Well, not so much anymore.
Okay.
They relatively quickly pulled it, but pulled it. It kind of just floundered, really. No one bought it. There was a report, a couple of investigations people did after the fact, and they said like, oh, this Ubisoft NFT thing's been around for like a couple of weeks now, and it's made there's been $60 worth of sales total. And everyone was like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. But the main thing that was of interest to me in that event, and again sort of ties to what I called about earlier, which is and I can't remember the name for the life of me, and if I had it in front of me, I would butcher the pronunciation. But the French Video Game Workers Union put out a statement at the time. They represent workers at Ubisoft, and I'm trying to remember if they're a Ubisoft specific union. I don't think they are. I think they're just a general game workers union, but they represent a lot of Ubisoft employees. They put out a statement around NFTs and gaming and play to earn and all of this stuff. They're very vocal against it. And I don't want to speak for Game Workers Australia, but the folks I've spoken to there who are across this stuff, even though they're representing workers who work at these companies, they're not particularly fond of the idea of play to earn, of NFTs and all that stuff in games. There's sort of, again, I don't want to speak for them, but a lot of people see it as this kind of encroachment of this kind of sort of infectious kind of monetization, financialization of something that's meant to be sort of thing that brings people joy and pleasure, and is an interesting way to share our experiences in our culture. So what I will do, as I said, I'll send you some information about Immutable, but I'll also send you some stuff about the Game Workers Union in France, who put out a statement regarding the Ubisoft NFTs, because I think it's interesting to see game studios, not just gamers, players of games, coming out sort of vocally against NFTs, but game studios, workers at these places, saying this is crap, like this is bad, like we don't want this. The promises that they're making, they can't fulfill, and even if they could, the notion of it is antithetical to what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean the gaming world has been absolutely incredible when it comes to this stuff, and I know it's not just the actual consumers and video game fans, the gamers. I've seen this blowback from a ton of video game developers as well. I mean, the idea that you would create a play to earn game in this space seems like seems like sort of dirty. Like, why wouldn't you have gone into like creating, casino games, like creating like slots, new slot machine games and shit like that? But no, you went into like these type of video games because you wanted to create entertaining games that people play for enjoyment, not because they hope to cash out and win big.
Exactly, and it's usually off the backs of folks in the Philippines, in the case of Axie Infinity, or Venezuela, or these sort of places. Like, these are the people who are sort of creating, quote unquote, the value, and doing a lot of the work behind the scenes in these things that are kind of propping these markets up to a degree. And when their return drops, right, when their with the scant money that they end up making from these platforms dips below the minimum wage, in the case of Axie Infinity in the Philippines, they leave, and the entire platform collapses because, surprise, they're the ones kind of holding this thing up.
Right.
I'll get out of your hair and let you take some other calls.
All right, John from Australia, everybody. As always, fantastic call, and I got to tell you, I'm pretty sure you just made it to another bonus episode on the main podcast stream for a week when I'm off. This was fantastic. Definitely get me those links. I'll do a full episode on this. I've been meaning to do more about video games and NFTs, but then all this stuff just came out at once with the crypto lenders, and then the Helium story, and then the Spice DAO basically falling to pieces. And I bet something new will pop up every other day for the next who knows how long. But I definitely want to at least do, at the very least, a couple of episodes in the next couple of weeks on what's going on with video games and NFTs. So definitely get me those links.
Look, you've got your work cut out for you, because that Solana wallet hack just happened as well. So
right, I totally forgot about that. I oh my God. And then there was another Mike Bergersberg of Dirty Bubble Media, who's been on this show. He had a report out today about a fake crypto exchange stole $60 million. It's tied to a massive web of fraud and to MEXC Global, a quote unquote legitimate exchange with $1 billion in daily volume.
Oh my God!
Yeah, the fake crypto exchange is called BitDog X. Apparently, my God, literally, I could probably make a daily show about this. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure CoinDesk does a daily show on crypto, but I think their coverage of the space probably a little bit different than mine.
A little bit friendlier, you might say. A little bit more, yeah.
I will say they do good reporting on this in the space when something outright in your face falls apart and there's no other, if, ands, or buts about it. But other than that, I would say you're spot on there.
Exactly. All right. Hopefully, we're not too inundated with news. Hopefully, we have a couple of quiet ones. Hopefully, for our sakes, and also for the sakes of all the folks who just keep getting scammed and grifted, and end up being liquidity for all of these companies.
Right. Absolutely. And very personally, my own sake, because I'm taking off 2 weeks, not back to back, but I'm taking off 2 weeks in August, and I could really use everyone just chilling out and calming down for a little bit, so I don't have to catch up with a shit ton when I get back.
Exactly. All right. Catch you next time.
Take care. Have a great afternoon in Australia.
Yeah, you too. Cheers.
Bye. Great call. Absolutely great call. Let's go back to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
Hey, up on the feed. Let me bring you. It's Cameron.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my God. Are you going old school, getting back to your roots and going down in the mines, the crypto mines?
Well, I don't appreciate that, I really don't. Because I'm stuck down here and you're making light of the situation.
So what's going on, Cameron? Fill us in.
Crypto, as you know, is on the table of elements considered one of the more volatile molecular structures. And there has been a collapse in my crypto assets. And I am trapped inside now. But luckily,
You mean a literal collapse in the mines?
well, of course, because of the volatility, it causes the. It's sort of the reason. Remember when that big giant apartment building collapsed in Miami because of
Yes, that
people
was
didn't care about how to build fucking buildings.
right in that area, right? Specifically in the
Yeah,
ground
so
and
that's
the
what I was doing also, was something like essentially similar to that, was hollowing out, uh, creating structures that were not supportable for the end, did not respond well to further explosion.
Okay. So what's who's down there with you? Let me ask that first. Who's down? Is it just you in there, or do you got the usual suspects, the miners and, oh God forbid, the children?
I have Benicio del Toro. I have Kevin Spacey down here. But
Oh.
Kevin Spacey's in a different room from the kids that work in my mind.
Well, that's
Those guys are essentially. I think we need that pedo guy from Elon Musk verse to get in there for those young fellows, which is a shame. I'm sorry. I hate to bring up all this stuff, and it's kind of like I'm treading on offensive
No,
territory.
I didn't know that you would have. I mean, some people would view you perhaps as a hero if you brought Kevin Spacey down there in that crypto mine and it collapsed on you guys. And I know you would be stuck down there too. But if he never got to come back up, I think a lot of people would herald you as an American hero. Honestly, Cameron.
Well, yeah, because I let a man, I murdered someone through uh, lack of the end of Seinfeld, the last Seinfeld episode.
Oh,
It's
the
sort of
Good
like that.
Samaritan laws.
Yeah, I did a Kramer. That's the main thing that when people think of like what did Kramer do that was bad, it was like the that. But I don't want to get off on track, and I think I found an alternate source of lighting. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I'm stuck here in the crypto mine, and I was wondering if you had like some money to send me.
Well, I would say this. See if you could set up a GoFundMe. Actually, I would honestly be interested in seeing someone set up a legit, not a legit, but a real GoFundMe page, saying they were trapped in the crypto mines and they need funding to get out. And I wonder,
Actually, I
how
think that
long it
what
would
we
take.
what is a better, obviously better financial thing for us to do, together, you and I, would be to open like up an escape room
Wait, did you say,
business.
I might have missed this. Did you say, according to people in the chat, I heard you say Kevin Spacey, but did you say Bill Cosby is down there with you?
No, I didn't say anything about Bill Cosby at all. I don't think he was in that. Was Bill Cosby in that movie? That'd be crazy.
Wait, what movie were you talking about?
Well, you said The Usual Suspects. I thought you were talking about that movie.
Oh, right. I was actually. It was Kevin Spacey in that movie? Oh, he was.
I
right.
thought he ended up being the suspect.
Oh, and Benicio del Toro. Oh, that was your joke. Oh my God, it went completely over my head, man. You
Yeah,
are.
you know what?
You're good. You're good.
Hey, wait, no. Listen, bro, man. You know why it went over your head? Because you cut some of your hair off, and your hair isn't big enough.
Right,
Or else, if it was bigger, it would have caught it right into that head. Slip
Right,
down
that's
into
true.
the old joke hole in the brain.
Joke on. Is Stephen Baldwin down there with you too?
Stephen Baldwin?
Yeah, he's in The Usual Suspects.
He's at the kids' table.
And is Bryan Singer, director of the movie, down there with you? Because I don't know if you want him down.
Can we go in ascending order from the list on IMDb of everyone involved in that movie and ask me if I was down with, like, start from like extras with like
Well,
start from extras with speaking rules.
The main
Is that
cast.
extras?
The main cast is Kevin Spacey, Gabriel Byrne, Chaz Paul Mintieri, Stephen
These are
Baldwin.
weird names.
Yes, Stephen Baldwin, Benicio del Toro, who you said was down there with you.
No, he's there. He's over there. He's
right.
He's
Kevin
fun.
Pollak. We got who else? Giancarlo Esposito. Those are the
Kevin
names.
Pollak is definitely down here. Yeah, Kevin, and it's getting so annoying. Like, I love Kevin Pollak, but being stuck in a mine with him is not fun. And
Is he doing his impressions?
he's doing he's trying to come up with new impressions, but because he's not getting enough information from the outside world because we're stuck in the mine. So they're like, he's trying to do celebrities that he has heard of, because some of the younger of the staff who are allowed around. Kevin Pollak is, as far as I know, allowed around the younger staff.
I think he is too. I hope. Let me check quickly. Go to his Wikipedia page, and I'm typing in. I'm searching on the whole page for Me Too. No. Controversy. Nope. We're good. I think we're good.
Excuse me, staff. Is there Kevin Pollak emergency? Please quarantine Kevin Pollak. Section Zone P.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you'd be good with everybody else there, it looks like. Really, the only problems are Kevin Spacey, I think. Oh, and if you have the director, Bryan Singer, down there, then we got a problem as well. But you should be good otherwise.
Yeah, I do have Roman Polanski. But, like,
did not remember his involvement.
I don't know how he got in.
Oh, okay. Maybe
he was already there or something. I don't know, hiding.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'll let you get on to
Cameron. As always, a pleasure. I gotta say, you are back at it, my friend. You are. You know, there was a little bit of a rocky road for the past couple times you called, but you are now back on your perch.
You know what?
At the top
rocky
of the food chain.
Is also a flavor of ice cream that is loved by idiots. Good night.
That's my favorite flavor. What? I'll take it, though. I'll take it. Have a great night, Cameron. Oh, that was... Let's go back to the phones. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I think there's a big lag on the on the show, because I just heard the guy go. He was about to get off, and so that's like, maybe I should call now.
Oh, no, you're on. You sound so familiar. Is this we've definitely spoken before. I'm getting reconnecting. There's a poor network connection. I'm gonna have to let you go.
I'm Jason.
I'm gonna have to let you go. It says poor connection. Try.
Hold on.
Let me take another caller, and then you can call back in. I'll take your call.
One second. All right.
All right. Let me take another call. I'll definitely take your call back. Let's give it a second for your connection to get better. We'll definitely try it again. Let me go back to the phones here and and I just lost that caller too. I don't think it's my end because the other calls were fine. Let's go to... Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, it's you definitely call. You're the guy with the YouTube channel about the music. Yeah. What's your name again?
So, Xander from Atlanta.
Hey, Xander from Atlanta. Can I pull your video up on the feed?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. What's up?
Well, so yeah, like you just said, I do a YouTube show with my friends about guitar stuff. So you can imagine how I lost my mind when Majority Report today started talking about all the guitars that y'all used to play and starting a band and all that stuff. Oh my
right.
God. I collect guitars. Like, it's my side hustle. I flip them for fun or whatever. You know what I mean? And if I knew Emma was selling her Les Paul, I would have inboxed her. I would have paid top dollar for the Emma Vigland Les Paul.
Oh, would
Come
you-
on,
would
that's
you have-
collectible shit.
Would you have asked for the autograph and then keep it on the wall for yourself?
Yeah, the certificate of authenticity, all that shit, dude. The T-shirt to go with it. Oh my God.
I gotta let her know that she left money on the table. I bet she just like put it on eBay or something or Craigslist and sold it as if she was a regular person.
Let her know if she could get it back. She could probably get a little cash out of your boy over here.
I mean,
But,
she could probably just go. She could probably now just go. Knowing this, she could probably now just go buy a guitar, sign it, and reach out to you, and boom, bada bing.
She could. She could. Unironically, she could. Yeah, that's fine. You could too. Give me another one of your fucking old basses, and I'll hang that on the wall.
I'll get the old Jay Tercer guitar the bass guitar I had.
Give me a Jay Tercer Beetle bass, and I'd hang that up on the wall for you, bro. But so I was brainstorming about it all day. I'm gonna focus on the Majority Report band for a little while. So you play bass. Emma had a Les Paul, so that's covered. You guys are like kind of the rhythm guitar section. You know, Les Pauls are good for big riffs and stuff. Matt Leck said he's got a Telecaster and likes to play with fuzz pedals and effects and stuff. So he's like the lead guy, obviously. I guess we could get Bradley on to do some horns. Maybe you're a ska band or something like that.
Bradley said he played bass too, so I said dual bass guitars. We just
Let's go. That's awesome. But then I'm like, where does Sam fit in with all this? And then I realized Sam's vocal range, Jello Biafra. He's the lead singer, dude. He's just up there singing like about how we need to like he's doing that on stage, just saying a lot and like saying like it's unbelievable and oh my God, like I don't know. But then so who plays drums? Who's the lefty media guy who's a drummer?
Oh boy, I don't know. I'm trying to think. See, that's the thing. In my experience, it's always been hardest to find a good drummer.
It's the hardest thing to find a drummer.
Guitar players, bass players, dime a dozen. Honestly, if I'm being serious, I mean, especially bass players.
Out of my mouth.
Because here's the deal. All right, think about all the guitar players you got, and obviously there are people who are really good at guitar. They're in a league of their own. But think about all the people who play guitar. Now, any of those guitarists could technically pick up a bass and play.
Sure.
If you just know bass guitar, you can't pick up a guitar and play. So the amount of bass players out there also includes all the guitarists, but the opposite doesn't work as well. So always, dime a dozen bass players, tons of guitarists too, but good drummers. And see, drums is also not an instrument where you can just be like, you could be an okay guitarist and it'll be just fine. Okay drummer will totally, you could tell. A really good drummer will just bring up the entire band together.
You can make or break a band, absolutely.
Yes.
So I gotta say, I thought about the answer to this question before I asked it. The only one I know of is David Packman.
Is he? He plays drums.
He plays drums. Yeah,
Is
he's
he
mentioned
good?
that before on the show. I don't know if he's good. I've never heard him play. I've never heard you guys play, so I don't know if you're good.
Honestly, when he says he plays drums, he looks like the type who's talking about marching band. So if you want David Packman there, I guess standing there,
to be fair,
hitting the bass drum, then maybe we got.
You guys all talked about you talked about playing the fucking clarinet earlier, dude. Which and I'll throw a bone at that. You were the clarinet guy. I played the oboe, which is like if you want to be extra nerd, you play the oboe because that thing is just trash. But I do have a way to tie this into the NFT crypto market, though. I'm not being totally random here because I know this is the scam economy,
No, we could talk about anything on this show. In fact,
Yeah.
It's been a while since so many people called in talking strictly about crypto. I was very excited, but you know what? This is the last. I won't be live streaming next week. There will be things going up though, like a compilation of older calls, things like that for Scam Economy. So for as the last live stream until the week after next. I like the idea of let's get a little bit more casual and just shoot the shit. So this is a good conversation to have.
I love that about you, buddy. But so, like I said, I'm a guy, like, I've worked in music stores most of my life. And so, like, the closest I've ever gotten to investing or stocks or any of that is, like, when a cool old guitar becomes rare and collectible, or when a random amplifier, like, becomes big because some new hip band uses it, and now it's very rare and cool, and everyone has to have one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, I've got like an old Sun amp over here that when I bought it, it was $300, and then a band that was called Sun came out, and now that amp is worth like $5,000, and it's crazy. Like, I don't think that amp is worth that much money. You know what I mean? But it still makes my guitar louder, right? It's like an actual investment, like I can use until I sell it.
No, like that's a product. You bought it. Maybe it's something that's rare in the industry among collectors or musicians, and it's worth something. But
so that's
but you can still use it. You can still look. I meant to show people. I got this. I was just looking online, and I saw that apparently back in the late '80s, early '90s. At the time the so this is early 90s. At the time the WWF, now WWE, but back then WWF, they made some pretty badass painters caps with the late 80s, early 90s stars on it. There's a Bushwhackers one, a Hulk Hogan one, a Ultimate Warrior one, and those were all cool. But then I saw this one. And it looks like one of those like retro 80s, early 90s skater hats, like the color combination. It's also the coolest tag team of all time. Also, it fits really well with the name of my other show, Doomed. And I saw this hat, and I had to have it. And so here it is. I'm going to debut it right now on the show, my new hat. It is my Legion of Doom collector's painter's hat. It is so badass. It is so badass. Look at that. Look at the side. What a rush. What a rush. And wait, look at the oh wait, I gotta show off the green screen because there's some green here. So hold on one second. You're not gonna be able to see it. Look at the top of this hat with Road Warrior Hawk and Road Warrior Animal. This is the most badass hat I ever saw. I put in an offer for it on eBay. It came in pristine condition. I was so shocked. I put in an offer that was like
awesome.
That was like a little bit less than half price, and the guy accepted it. It was like $35, and I was so excited. And I am gonna be wearing this hat all the time. My one worry though is that it's in such pristine condition that I'm gonna fuck up this nice classic vintage WWF hat.
Right.
But I'm not going to let it just sit around and then go to waste. I'm actually going to have to wear it.
But so the reason I brought up like my old collectibles or whatever is because like the first thing that I noticed after the crypto market crashed, a lot of cool old guitar equipment went up for sale like immediately. Like, I'm thinking, this is just a theory, I don't have any evidence, but I know the type of people who invest in crypto in my community of like brain dead stoner metal dudes. And it's like, oh God, their crypto wallet and their NFT investment flopped. So they can't afford their third or fourth or fifth amp anymore. Whereas me, that amp was the crypto for me. And now, you know, that's a safe investment because it's just going to keep creeping up. So I don't know. I just thought it was funny, and hearing the whole MR crew reflect on their not only their band nerd days, but also their like aspiring rock and roll days. really made me feel at home, and I love the vibe. And thank you for bringing me on the show. Can I plug my show again?
Oh
Just
yes,
because I'm
please
here.
go ahead. First of all, I want to say you can plug your show 100% for sure. I just want to say the dream is still alive here. There's still in the back of my head. One day I will achieve that goal. I'm not really looking. Back in the day, I was looking to literally be on the road with the boys and do the whole constantly touring thing. I have no interest in that anymore. I got kids, but there's still. But you know what? In this day and age, back in the early 2000s when I had my band, early to late 2000s when I had my band, that was what you had to do. Nowadays, you don't got to do that stuff. The internet.
You can jam online.
Yeah. I mean, if you got big, obviously you would go on tours. But when you're touring at that level, you bring the family along because they're paying you the big bucks. But yeah, the dream is still there to get something going again and getting some music out there.
And you know, it's important too because like you've mentioned before, like how Anti-Flag kind of got you started on the road to radicalization. I'm kind of like that. It was like Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, Anti-Flag, Choking Victim, Crass, and like all of that really carved the path for me. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't find those talk shows, but you could find those bands.
Right.
You know?
And it's always shocking to me when I hear someone, it's not often because it's very few, but whenever I hear someone who listened to punk and they became like conservatives or something. And it's and it's like, damn, man, did you ever fucking listen to the lyrics? I mean, seriously, for any single one of those bands, do you ever listen to the lyrics?
I reconnected with an old friend of mine who's down in Orlando. I lived down there for a long time, like for the end of my high school era, and he's a very like dedicated punk rocker. His big brother turned him on to Operation Ivy when he was like 11. You know, he's like a true believer. You know what I mean? And he and I kind of had a little falling out because around the 2016 era, he was saying like, don't vote for anybody. Trump and Hillary are both bad. They're both terrible. He was kind of doing the Jimmy Dore thing, I guess, to put it in like Majority Report terms. And I kind of was like, no, dude, you have to vote for the one that's not as evil as the other one. I tried to have that conversation. I just couldn't do it. I was dealing with other personal shit. But so I talked to him recently. He called me randomly. We got to chatting. And he's like, I'm not right or left, dude. I just want to fight all the fucking Nazis and get all these racist and gay haters out of my town. And I'm like, yeah, you're not on the right, dude. You just hate the Democrats. You're further left than them. And he had never heard that before, you know? Mm-hmm. He had never heard that you could be further left than Hillary Clinton. And as soon as I said that to him...
Well, hold on, like everyone, breaking news.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, it sounds great. It sounds simple to you and me, but this is a guy who we used to talk about being anarchist, you know, right after 9/11 happened. And fucking he didn't, and I don't know. So the music is important, and we need to keep that part of us alive.
And then he gave up on anarchy when Hillary Clinton joined Black Bloc.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he does still fight Nazis in his local bar, so give the guy a little credit.
Yeah, this message. No, that's. I think there are a lot of people like that out there, and that's the people who the time should be spent on. I think there's so many people who are like, oh no, we should spend time winning over conservatives or people who are no. Again, like
we can't let them think they're in the middle, right? Because libertarians take up that territory.
Right. Like when I went on Tim Pool's show, I didn't care about any of those conservative viewers. I cared about the people who were watching Tim Pool, who are probably like your friend, who was like, oh look, this guy talks about politics. He hates the Democrats. Yeah, but that's not this is not the guy for you if you hate the Democrats for reasons of them not being left enough.
Exactly. But all right, I've taken up enough time. Unless I haven't already, it's working class music. If you guys want to hear reviews about guitar equipment from a bunch of broke leftists in Atlanta, we're here for you. It's fun. It's mostly POCs. We have interviews. We talk to rock stars sometimes. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun.
Well, who have you spoken to? Like, who's the name? Let people drop some of the big names you've spoken to, so people you like gotta win people over. You gotta market. You gotta promote that shit so people go over to the channel.
We have a big one coming out. We have a couple big ones coming out that I'm not allowed to drop. We've talked to Oh God! Now I'm having my moment where I can't remember names. Vaughn Phoenix from Punk Black. Punk Black isn't a band, but it's like a conglomerate that does mostly POC punk rock and hardcore bands, based out of Atlanta in the South, but they're all over the place. Vaughn is an amazing guy. We had Michael Bond. He's been a singer in a lot of bands. There's been a lot of controversy over some of the stuff he's been involved with, and we kind of talked about his experiences with mental illness. And one of our friends, Carla, came on. She's a trans woman who plays drums in like metal and hardcore bands, and is just a great person, and someone worth learning from. And we're going on from there. Most recently, we did a big thing where like Sweetwater, the music website, paid to have us go over there and like talk to a bunch of people and hang out with like, I don't know. We do stuff all the time. We have new videos once or twice a week, and
drop that channel link one more time because people are asking in the live chat.
Working Class Music.
Spelled exactly how you would normally spell it if you were writing an article. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Just
it's the internet. Some people it could be like working class music, but all the S's in class are Z's. No, this is working, WORKING, class, CLASS, music, MUSIC. So you can just go to youtube.com/working class music, all one word, and it'll bring you there.
That should get you there, or you just search for it, or it's WCM show on I think that's our like Twitter and like TikTok maybe is WCM show. But yeah, we're all over the place with that, and I appreciate you giving me some time, and keep the Majority Report crew focused on this music revival thing. Music should be something, you don't have to be good at music to have fun playing it. You know what I mean? Like people need to remember that you should be able to just play music for fun with your friends. It's not something that has to be a career.
Right. I'll also say though that if you're not good, probably don't go play out in public. No, I'm just.
If you're not good, get a couple friends to come hang out and play music until you all get good together.
There you go. Yeah, I was just fooling around. My band. We played our first show. Literally like a week or two after we formed. It was like there was a club, like a small bar in Middle Village, Queens called the Red Zone, that was known for weekend all ages shows before they opened up the bar like later that day. Like they'd have an early like matinee every weekend, Saturday and Sunday matinees. And it was always like local bands, sometimes they'd bring in some bigger bands or whatever. But like it was known for like, that's if you're in Queens and you're playing punk or metal or any of that music in that general scene, that's where you would play your first show for sure, at the Red Zone.
Yeah.
And that's where we played our first show. And so totally joking when I say that. Go out and play as soon as you can. It's fun. It's great. Do it.
Enjoy it. Exactly. And that's kind of what we're trying to convey on our show. So thanks for giving me the little spotlight, dude. Love the work. Love the show. I'm going to end the call now and get caught up on the main show.
All right, cool.
Thanks, man.
Have a great night. Take care. Always a pleasure when you call.
I'll call back soon.
All right.
Peace,
bye.
man. Later.
Love talking about that. Love talking about music. All right, let's get this other caller back up now that. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Jason, Jade Maroon, Jason Slade, whatever you want to call me.
Hey, Jason Slade.
Yeah. I just finally, actually, you called my name out earlier. I just finally was able to do a monthly subscription to your program.
You. While you're mentioning it, I should also shout out, we got another patron. So during the show, we got two patrons during the show. Jason Slade right here talking to me now. Yeah. And I also want to shout out. I also want to shout out Brawlerella. Thank you both. You're right here. So thank you both for becoming patrons, but you're right here. So Jason, thank you. I appreciate it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no worries, man. I've been trying to do it for a bit, and your work is, definitely worth it. And I'm sorry I couldn't do it. I've given some, what do you call it? Some, chats here and there or whatever. But but
No, I want to make it. I want to make it. I want
I
to
don't
make
know
it.
if you
Well,
remember
being that you bring it up,
me.
I want to make it. I just want to make it clear to people. And then you could go ahead. I just want to make it clear to people, like, only join the Patreon page. Become a paying subscriber. If for obviously if you want to, first of all, but then only then if and when you could afford to do so. If you cannot, please, by all means, don't feel. While I would love to have this be my full-time thing, I'm not there yet. I do have a full-time job, so this income is a help, obviously, because I'm gonna make a ton of money. But it's not like if you don't give me your $5, I will starve. Don't ever think that. If that was the case, I'd let you know. Trust me. So go ahead, Jason. What was it to talk about?
Well, first off, I wanted to. Your last caller was talking about all the rad old punk bands. I'm wearing my Bad Brains shirt right now.
Oh, I love it. I've seen Bad Brains live at CB's. Obviously not in like the 80s, but
too.
Oh yeah?
I saw them in DC and in CBGBs. I saw them in Charleston, actually, where I'm from, Charleston, South Carolina, as well. So I've seen them in 3 different places. And HR Anthology, like also, his more dub stuff that he does, or that he did. I don't think he's doing it anymore, or still performing, but
No, I think yeah. I don't even know how old they are now. I don't think I remember hearing that one of them was having medical difficulties. I don't remember what happened there. But I know HR was also fundraising for a while for health issues. I don't know what ended up happening. This was the original lead singer of Bad Brains. He passed away in 2020. Right.
Oh, HR passed away in 2020.
No. Chuck Mosley, who is the singer
Chuck
before.
Mosley. Okay.
Right.
The original.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But which also I would love to. I don't know if you've heard the X Vandals, but I think Jello. I'm not sure if I'm getting mixed up. I think Jello Biafra might have been in that. But my mentor and comrade from who's part of the Zulu Nation, which I'm also a part of, and he has been an MC with the X Vandals. The bassist from Rage Against the Machine. What's his name again?
I only know Tom Morello and the
Tom Morello.
Oh well,
Tom
he's
Morello.
the guitarist. Yeah.
Yeah, the guitarist. Sorry. I don't know what I was thinking there, but yeah, they did a new album, like I think 2019 or 20 or something like that. The X Vandals. It's like a super group kind of thing. It's got Chuck D, from Public Enemy, and
right.
also and some others. But anyways, which also leads me to what I was calling about. I'm the one who has been speaking to you about the political prisoner thing.
Right. Yes.
And but I wanted, because today was a very important day for that, for me to call in and give some news. And seeing as I think it was today on Majority Report, they were talking to the Guantanamo Bay, the person that went to Guantanamo Bay from the Guardian newspaper.
I missed the guest today, so I'm not sure. But let's go with that. I believe you.
Yeah. But anyways, so today there was a guest. Seeing as the guest on the on Majority Report today, like towards the end of the interview, spoke on that although the conditions are very bad, and obviously in Guantanamo Bay, and the geographical and geopolitical, I would say, position of where Guantanamo Bay is and the history of that and whatnot, that all that combined, when asked of the prisoners if they would like to be transferred, even though they shouldn't even be there, most of them, to a high security prison in the United States, said they wouldn't want to do that because the conditions, the solitary confinement conditions and all of this by many prisoners are way more brutal than what they experience on Guantanamo Bay on a daily basis. So and so leading into that today, I think it was yesterday, I saw it on Democracy Now! Today. It was Albert Woodfox, who was part of the Panther Six from New York. Originally, he was held in solitary confinement for the most years, I think, 40, and he died today. I mean, he got out 6 years ago, and I guess you could say somewhat. I wouldn't say lucky, but he lived 6 more years out of prison. But like the guy we were fighting for, or one of the people we were really pushing to get out, Russell Maroon, who spent 36 years in solitary confinement. He died 1 month, like almost exactly 1 month after being released last November. And it was almost as if he was like holding out until he could see his family again. And then, he got COVID. He had stage 4 cancer for, a couple of years. And the sad part is that these people are forgotten in our society. And I was trying to pull it up before I came on, but there's a few, I pulled up a few articles that I was just randomly looking at, because I've heard it being involved in what I'm involved in, but just in general, how without the Panthers and those movements, we wouldn't have a lot of the social programs that we have today, like the Feed the Children program, and these free healthcare clinics and all of this stuff. None of that existed before the Panther movement, and we can go even further back. The public education wouldn't exist actually without some of the people that are from where I'm from, Charleston. Some of the people from the Reconstruction era. Well, you can go back to Septima Clark, who was like in the early 1900s. She was like one person that pushed literacy and all of this stuff, and Malcolm X and a lot of the Reconstruction pulled from her, from her work. And, the first public schools were, Robert Smalls from South Carolina was one of the legislators from the Reconstruction period. And he was one of the main ones writing the public education legislation. And, at least in the South, for the South, southern parts or whatever. I even found an article on the History Channel webpage that talked about how important, the Black Panthers were to what we have today. And it's just so sad to see, that they continuously be forgotten. Like recently, Sundiata Acoli, who was with Assata Shakur, was arrested when Assata Shakur was arrested. But of course, Assata Shakur was freed and lives in Cuba now, which I've met going to Cuba, and actually another prisoner there that I actually did an article with, who was the other Black Panther there. But anyways, it's just sad, sad to see. And today this guy, dies and gets a brief headline. Sundiata, I think Democracy Now! Had a headline when Sundiata Acoli was released, and he's like one of the big, Mumia and Sundiata Acoli are probably two of the biggest names, at least, as far as, people knowing who the political prisoners are. And, but I just wanted to give that information. And if I could, just as a last, I got two more little small bits, if that's okay, about this, because it's a really important thing. And I hope we can talk more. I know you're going on vacation or whatever, but when you get back, I hope we can, talk more about, doing a future, show or whatever. But I just wanted, just for the magnification of the thing, read off the list of political prisoners that are still in prison right now, if that's okay.
All right. No, first of all, I want to say thank you for that. That was great stuff right there. Absolutely on point too, by the way.
Yeah.
B.
Last time people were giving me hell because I was extremely tired and I didn't give a
No,
good
but
performance.
you were concise right there. B. You said you were going to get me some people that you wanted to because I said, why don't we do a show on this?
I will show you who right now.
Get me some names to get on the show. Shoot me over.
They're in this book. Two of my mentors are in this book right here.
Send me their contact information. Like email me. You know my email. Send me their contact.
Well, they want me to like, they want me to like do kind of like settle everything or whatever. I mean, but
all right. So why don't you go ahead? Why don't you go ahead?
I can get them to come on the call with me when we meet up or something. You know what I mean?
All right, sounds good. So why don't you read those names you wanted to read now, and then thanks. This was great. This was fantastic. Go ahead.
All right. So this is off of the Jericho site. I think it's Jericho.com or org. I can't remember. But if you just type in Jericho, New York City has a chapter, Philadelphia has a chapter, and all this. And this came off the list. Actually, the number one on this list just got out. Like I was saying, Sundiata Kolai, 83 years. Probably I took this list last year.
He was there. How long was he in prison again? Jeez.
Almost. I think over 40 years.
Right. I recall just reading about him recently.
47. Or no, yeah. It says 40 years here, so it's probably 47 when he got out. But Sundiata Kolai, 83 years old, Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army, in prison for 47 years. Joseph Brown, 72 years old, Black Liberation Army, in prison for 49 years. He's still in prison. Veranza Bowers, 74 years old, Black Panther Party, in prison for 46 years. Veranza Bowers, no, did I say her? 74 years old, Black Panther Party. Yeah, I said her. Abdullah Malik Kabah, a.k.a. Jeff Fort, 73 years old. El Runkin, in prison for 37 years old. Rochelle Magui Sinke, 81 years old, Black Guerrilla Family, in prison for 50 years. Juan Carl Lamin, 72 years old, United Freedom Front, in prison for 38 years. Romaine Chip Fitzgerald, 71 years old, Black Panther Party, in prison for 50 years. Mumia Abu Jamal, 73 years old now, I think. He just had a birthday. Black Panther Party, Friend of Move Organization, prison for 39 years. Alvaro Luna Hernandez, 69 years old, Chicano movement activist, in prison for 24 years. Kolo Bomani Sabadu, 68 years old, Black Liberation Army, in prison for 39 years. Pete O'Neill, which I visited this, one of my mentors in this book, where they helped start the St. Louis chapter of the Black Panther Party. They went, her husband, Pete O'Neill, was, he was like good friends with Geronimo, for example. He was one of the ones that, or they were one of the ones that escaped to Algiers. They went to Algiers, and after a year, they were able to, they were gifted some land in Tanzania. They now have a school there for children. It's like an official place where people that didn't go through primary school could finish their school, because it's almost impossible to do there without having a lot of money. So Pete O'Neill, I've been out to their place in Tanzania. Asada Shakur, she's in exile also, 73 years old or 74 years old, Black Liberation Army, exiled in Cuba for 41 years. Bill Dunn, 68 years old, ABCF Prisoner Committee, in prison for 41 years. Matulu Shakur, years old, Black Liberation Army in prison for 39 years. I'm working on, you know, I'm working a lot on the campaign for that right now. Hanif Shabazz Bey, 71 years old, Virgin Islands, independence fighter in prison for 47 years. Russell Maroon Schultz, who just died, who actually just got out in November, but died in December. 78, or he would have been, I guess he was about to go on 80 years old. Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army. Leonard Peltier, of course, 78 years old, American Indian Movement. Imam Jamil Abdullah Alamin, 78 years old, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Black Panther Party, Darul Islam Movement, imprisoned for 20 years. Maral Malik Smith, 71 years old, Virgin Islands independence fighter, imprisoned for 47 years. David Gilbert, who actually he just got out as well from the Weather Undergrounds. And I will say, like, you were talking last week about hippies that weren't, Weather Underground was part of the hippie movement.
Right, I forgot. Right, yeah, I guess I was talking more about the general, like the music scene, which obviously, I'm sure the people who were at Woodstock, for example, the original Woodstock, wasn't they weren't all on board with Weather Underground, you know?
No, definitely not. But so, and then David Gilbert, Kenny Zulu Whitmore, 67-year-old Black Panther Party, in prison for 45 years. Ed Poindexter, 77 years old, Black Panther Party, in prison for 50 years. Larry Hoover, 71 years old, Gangster Disciples, in prison for 47 years. Fred Muhammad Burton, 75 years old, Philadelphia freedom fighter, in prison for 48 years. And the last piece, and I won't take up any more of the time, but last year there was an amazing tribunal. There was an amazing tribunal that was like coordinated and organized with the United Nations that got no coverage. It was a 2021 Tribunal on Genocide, like an international tribunal on genocide. And there was like judges or jurors or whatever from all over, and basically, I'm going to read off, just a paragraph off of an article from the Black Agenda Report that wrote about it.
Go ahead.
Saying that, and it says December 2021 will mark the 70th anniversary of the historic Campaign for Human Rights, launched a few years after the United Nations was formed. At that time, prominent African American leaders and their allies brought a petition to the UN that boldly stated, "We charge genocide." Here in the house that Betty built, they had this in the Betty Shabazz Center in Washington Heights. A new tribunal was set to reassert this charge and relate it to more recent efforts with an updated analysis on the 21st century situation. And they charged every charge that was brought up: racist police killings of Black, Brown, and Indigenous people, hyper incarnations of Black, Brown, and Indigenous people, political incarceration of civil rights, national liberation era revolutionaries and activists, as well as present-day activists, environmental racism and its impact on Black, Brown, and Indigenous people, and public health racism and disparities and its impact on Black and Brown Indigenous people. But I mean, there's a lot more I can go into about that, but they were charged on every count, and this was ratified by the United Nations. And that, I mean, it's almost symbolic, because the United Nations can't, like, physically, but what this can do is, build up, if given, given more of a spotlight, also can build up some momentum for further, further investigations, further, like indictments, or, further support or whatnot. And but yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Sorry if I was speaking too fast. I was trying to be as concise as possible.
No, you did. This was good. This was good. Yeah. No, thanks for calling in with this information and the names. I think it's important people remember these things, as you know. I feel like we used to hear more about a lot of the names you listed off years ago, and I guess they sort of got. Things happen and issues become more prominent over others, and I think it's good that there are
but there's
people
an
who are still.
African proverb. But there's there's a African proverb that actually it's written all over Charleston, South Carolina, for example, and New York. Actually, these gates with the heart, the iron gates with the hearts, or it looks like a heart in it, all over New York.
Right.
Yeah, that is like one of the most famous, at least in Charleston, people. And I worked with his grandson, for example, who's in the Gullah community, and I actually have a lot of Reconstruction people that Sam could talk to. I tried emailing about that too, but anyways, that symbol means Sankofa, which means basically to know where you're going, you got to remember where you came from, or you got to know where you came from, and it's it's if you live by this kind of motto, for lack of a better word, like you're like cutting off part of you. I mean, because if you believe in the ancestors and that your ancestors are guiding you and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I understand what you're saying. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. It's not you that's doing it, but that's what's happening. I'm not. So what I'm saying is that we have to, I don't know, we kind of gotta like spare that moment when we can, and just remember these people and that they're still living, and and they paved the way, for us, and of course we can't. I mean, we've got stuff happening in front of us every day, so it's it makes it really hard. You get a president like Donald Trump or whatever, and you start having globally all these nationalist countries or whatever, it's like very, it's very difficult, to say the least. So, I mean, it's no indictment on anybody or anything, but I guess I made it a passion, passion of mine to like, keep these people in my memory, and like try and do my best to, to do that or whatever, especially because of the people I'm working with and all of this stuff. But some people, I think in the chat, like, kind of like questioned, like, my kind of proximity to the Zulu Nation or to the Black, mentioning working with ex-Panthers who are part of the Zulu Nation. But like, here is like one thing that's like, a trip that we did with a youth program that we have in Charleston, where I came up to meet Brother Shep McDaniel, who used to print the New York City Black Panther papers, from the early 70s on. He came in a little bit late, but he still does a lot of the survival programs in New York at the People's Church in Harlem. They do them every week, like they do acupuncture, and they get people involved at the same time, because like, the person I interviewed in Cuba, like, I'll have to send you that article because I think you'll like it. Or I may have sent it to you already. I can't remember, but it's interviewing Nahanda Abiodun, and she was one of the ones that, like, was part of the Lincoln Detox Center, and then helped form the Black Acupuncturist Union. And they gave this free service of addiction, like helping with addiction, but they didn't pay with money, but they had to get involved to be a part of the program. So it was like, it was a cycle of of this kind of stuff, and as far as the Zulu Nation, I just wanted to. I saw in the chat like someone was like, I sounded suspect talking about the Zulu Nation or the, I guess being white skinned or whatever, but white body. But anyways.
No, thanks for thanks for the call. Definitely get me that information, and we'll be in touch for sure. To do an episode on this. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
Have a great night, my friend, and thanks for becoming a patron.
Yeah,
As my voice
I'm so
cracks.
glad I could finally do it because I mean, I mean you and everyone at the Majority Report and and the Left Reckoning and everyone that's a part that basically that's in y'all's circumference and Democracy Now as far as like video.
The extended Majority Report. So. The Majority Report extended universe, right? Have a great have a
exactly.
The MREU. Have a great night, my friend. Take care.
Yeah, you too, man. Have a good night. Bye.
All right, I think we'll do one or two more calls. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, damn.
Oh, hey, how are you? Can I pull your video up on the stream?
Yeah, hit me.
Cool. Oh, we got two callers in one show from the Pacific.
I missed the other one. Who was from the Pacific?
John from Australia called in.
Oh, true story. Yeah, close enough.
Wait, is Australia's in the Pacific Ocean, right?
Yeah, they're Australian.
Hey, I gotta say, you both sound very similar.
Yeah. Tell me, it's like you guys and Canadians, right? You guys sound exactly the same.
No, excuse you, Mr. New Zealand over here. No, I don't. Well, tell everyone again. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Aslan.
Aslan, right? It says it on the Skype, but I need you to say it for the people who are listening, right?
That's totally okay.
We don't say a boot here when we say about. We say about. That's a Canadian thing.
That tangibly distinguishes Americans from Canadians for me is the aboot thing.
Right. So what would you like to talk about, my friend? What would you like to what are you calling about?
Well, when I tuned into the live stream, there was a dude talking about music, and I'm a musician, so I wanted to talk about music.
All right, let's talk about music. What's up? What would you like to? What did you play?
I play guitar, and I'm studying music at the moment.
So you're like a real musician then. Because I gotta tell you, when I say I played bass, I mean I played bass. I didn't. I can't read music.
That's okay. I mean, one of the things that with the guy that you were talking to, you were saying about, just play music no matter what, even if you're not good at it or whatever. One of the things that kind of comes up a lot in the research that I'm doing is the idea of kind of authenticity and how like good music versus bad music or artistic authenticity and things like that. And it's really interesting because that's kind of a common thing for people to think, right? Is that if you're not a real musician if you can't read music, or you're not a real musician if you don't do such and such.
Right. I mean, I always I would never say I was a bassist. I was a bass player. I played the bass, but I wasn't a bassist. Listen, in punk, you could literally do whatever the fuck you want. That's why it worked out so perfect. If my favorite music was like, I don't know, like prog rock, I would have been fucked. I couldn't have played that shit.
Was someone yesterday about I don't know, some person I was following on Twitter had posted about this like genre of YouTube videos like complaining about the drummer from Metallica and being like, does he even know how to play drums? And then it reminded me of Neil Peart from Rush, the drummer from Rush, and how like in I don't know, proper music world, or I don't know, like music education or whatever, everyone thinks Neil Peart can't play drums as well because he's so he's a prog musician, but like he's fine, I suppose. So you could potentially fit into a prog band if you didn't know how to play.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
complete faith in you.
Yeah. I guess I could have faked it till. That's a recurring theme on the scam economy. I could have faked it till I
You
made
make
it. Yeah.
Who was the? It was Sid Vicious, right? Who was the bass player for the Sex Pistols?
Yes. And he could, yeah. I mean, but listen, who cared? He didn't care. It didn't matter. He was he was charismatic and a showman, and yeah. I mean, even the Ramones, though. I mean, they were. I mean, we don't even have to make fun of the Sex Pistols being like this made for like the equivalent of like a punk rock, the Monkees. We could look at the Ramones, who was a legit band. Played a very simple song structure, but knew how to put a song together, a catchy song together, and lo and behold, here they are.
Music is right. I mean, like if you're talking about punk music, I mean, a lot of the time the point of the music isn't necessarily to be aesthetically pleasing, but to get a political point across, right?
Right, that's true. I mean, not all punk bands were necessarily political. Some of them had different, but absolutely, it was all about just the attitude or the views, or if it was political, the politics. Absolutely. I mean, the Ramones are an interesting one because Johnny, who by all means was the like the business mind of the band and kept the guys doing what they needed to do, he was a Republican, like a hardcore Republican, and so there's all these photos of like the Ramones like standing in front of like all this like anti-communist, because they were from late 70s 80s, standing in front of like all this anti-communist like stuff, and like I mean, just look it up, like Ramones, like they literally did like a whole photo shoot it's like in front of 1 second, let me pull up a picture here. But yeah, they were weird, very weird. Here we go. This is like
more recently.
This is the famous picture.
That Johnny, the Sex Pistols guy, Johnny Rotten, is very much a Republican, like these days.
Oh, Johnny Rotten today, yes.
But that really their thing back then, right? I'm terrible on my knowledge of punk music. It's
Oh, I don't. I mean, they were singing about saying "fuck the Queen" back then. So I mean, not exactly the Tories back then,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where they were for this, but this is a really famous photo of the Ramones. Let me pull it up on the stream here. 1 second.
Let me see.
It's the band. There's Johnny in the back. Excuse me, that's Joey in the back with the long hair, and Dee Dee next to him, and I believe that's Tommy, the drummer, who they had a number of drummers over the years, I think 2 or 3, and then the one standing by himself is Johnny, the Republican, and there's a piece of graffiti on the wall that says, "Vote Communist or Socialist Workers Party, People's Government," and there they are, giving it the thumbs down to Communist or Socialist Workers Party.
Wow, hardcore, thumbs down. No,
I mean, yeah, like that's. But they were. Johnny was a Reaganite. He was a. Let me see if I could find. I think there might be something with them with Reagan too, and I'm not with Reagan specifically, but something that. Yeah, Johnny Ramone. Hold on. I should make sure this is legit and not just something on the internet. 1 second. Yeah. No, this specific thing. Yeah, this is on. This is legit. Johnny Ramone thought Ronald Reagan was the best president of his lifetime, and Nixon was number 2.
That's so bizarre. I mean, were the Ramones like? Because what that sounds like to me, and this is from a completely ignorant point of view, standpoint of punk music or anything. What that sounds like to me is the Ramones saw other punk bands who like it's like previously established punk bands who were doing that music to fight the man or whatever, and were like, that sounds like cool music, let's play that, and completely missing the point. That sounds to me what it sounds like. Is that accurate, or I don't know.
I mean, Johnny Ramone was well known for being one of the few like conservatives in punk rock, and I don't think.
Right.
I don't think the band always agreed with him. I mean, maybe earlier on they did as their politics grew, because they were young, obviously. I mean, Joey Ramone died very young. Like, people think like, oh, he died in like the early 2000s. I wonder how, he must have been old. No, he was geez, how old was he when he died? Joey Ramone died at 49 in 2001. So that means, he's in his his early to mid 20s when the Ramones are together.
Yeah.
Here's an interview with Marky Ramone, saying conservatives had no place at Ramone shows, and also talking about Johnny saying we were punk brothers but political enemies. Yeah,
that's really weird. That seems so weird to me. Oh, well, I suppose. I mean, like they're. I mean, again, me completely ignorant, but were they like legit brothers and stuff, right?
Oh no, they were not. They were just that was
Okay.
that was just their band name. They were no relation at all for any of them, right?
Okay.
Like,
This is me showing my.
No, a lot of punk bands do that. I mean, they were probably one of the first doing that. Like, Mick Jagger didn't go by like Mick Stones, you know what I mean? And then,
Yeah.
and
Well, like Van Halen were the two Van Halen brothers. You got Eddie Van Halen and the other Van Halen.
But they named the band after their actual, like they're like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Ramones, no, it was just the Ramones, and they each took the last name. I mean,
Gotcha.
Joey Ramone's real name, Johnny Ramone's real name was John Cummings, and Joey Ramone's real name was Jeffrey Hyman.
Sorry, did you say Jeffrey Hyman?
Yeah, Hyman.
I can see why
he's Jewish. He's Jewish.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, I can see those aren't exactly very punk rock names.
Yeah,
I suppose.
But a lot of punk bands do that. Like I know that like the Unseen, one of my favorite punk bands, they go by like they just take their first name and stick the name Unseen at the end, like Vinny Unseen or Paul Unseen or whatever. And there's a lot of punk bands that do that. Not all of them. Like the Dropkick Murphys don't go by John Murphy and Bob Murphy, but it's dependent on the band.
Yeah, the Manson's band, Marilyn Manson's band, they did that. Or obviously it's a different naming convention, but so Marilyn Manson and all the band members, they were named after like a famous woman pop star or whatever, and a serial killer. So you get Marilyn Monroe, Charles Manson, Marilyn Manson, and then the rest of the band members were also the same thing. I can't remember them. They had, like one of them was called something or other Gacy, and the other one was called something or other, other serial killer name. But again, not really named after the band.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at this. I just sorry. While you were talking, I looked at this. Joey Ramone was this is in a music magazine. I'm not sure where they're getting this from, but it seems like Joey Ramone's brother, I think, said this at some point, that Joey Ramone was a liberal who had a progressive attitude in life. It seems like they were just stuck following Johnny along because Johnny was the brains behind the operation, so they didn't really feel like they had a choice, I guess, in terms of like at least early on.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So he was kind of the driving force.
Right.
A whole Roger Waters Pink Floyd situation.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's the one who like owns all or like has like the majority. Like they're all dead now except for the drummer. I think even one of the drummers died. I forget if it was Marky or Tommy Ramone. But there's only like one of them left out of like the 5 or 6 of them. And I'm pretty sure Johnny had like the biggest stake in the music, like in terms of like after when Johnny died, I'm pretty sure that his wife is the one who like holds like the key to the Ramones estate or something.
Right, and that's going to be valuable.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to it. I wonder if anything.
Was she still around?
Okay, this was in 2019. The family of Johnny Ramone and Joey Ramone have been locked in a courtroom battle for months and came to a settlement in late 2019, so like right before the pandemic.
Right.
So yeah, they each own. So Joey and Johnny each owned a 50% interest. Poor Dee Dee. And yeah, I mean,
damn, sucks to be them.
Oh, this is interesting.
I just need to clarify somewhat.
I should do an episode on the Ramones. This is crazy, actually. The whole issue apparently arose after Johnny Ramone's widow tried to legally change her name to Ramone. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, someone in the chat got upset because I said that Roger Waters was the driving force behind Pink Floyd, and I wanted to clarify that I don't actually think that Roger Waters was the driving force behind Pink Floyd, but he liked to think that he was. And at a certain point in the Pink Floyd timeline, he was the one who was basically, yeah, kind of after the around when the Wall was happening, and then when the Final Cut was a thing as well, like the last album they did, he like everyone else had kind of checked out. He'd kind of fired Nick Mason from the band, and then like brought him back as a contractor or something, and which is just like the biggest fuck you to Nick Mason. And so Roger Waters was the one being like, this is my project. I'm the one who, you're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to do this thing. And all the rest of them had kind of checked out. And that's kind of how the band fell apart. And so I realized that Roger Waters wasn't necessarily the creative driving force. They all contributed an incredible amount to the band. But Waters was the megalomaniacal one in the situation. That's my take on that.
I gotta say, this conversation is driving this whole music conversation is driving the chat absolutely up the wall.
Get it?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh my God. Holy. Oh. I'm back, right? Oh my God. Can somebody confirm in the chat that I'm back? Oh my God. That's the longest it ever went down. Oh my God. I can't believe it. And I still see all the chat revenue. Oh my God. Wow. Holy. Oh my God. Look at that. No, I'm on my internet came back. It seemed like it did go down. Like my actual, not the Wi-Fi. I reset the Wi-Fi. The actual internet went down. Listen, Aslan, my internet went down, buddy. It was a great conversation. Let me message him. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to log off of Skype now, though. I'm going to read some super chats. And I'm going to call it a night. I'm obviously not going to do a super long show. I wonder how YouTube is going to treat... I wonder how YouTube treats all those chats. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder in the replay, what happens during that? Like, I wonder if there's just a big empty black void during the stream on the replay. Or if like all of a sudden you'll see me and Aslan talking and then it'll just cut to me going, am I back? And you just see the live chat go like whoosh. Because it has to catch up with the actual video content. Bizarre, crazy. I'm shocked. I thought I was checking, and basically a bunch of people in Queens and Manhattan were adding Spectrum, saying, "What the fuck's going on? Our internet just went down." I reset the Wi-Fi. I reset the actual modem, and none of that worked because the actual internet went down. Like they actually, it was on their end completely. So all right, let's read those super chats. Oh, I can't read the super chat. Give me a second to go to YouTube. Folks, patreon.com/MattBinder to support the show. My dad, I just got my text message. The iMessage from my dad from 40 minutes ago just popped up on my screen saying, "Your stream froze." Listen, this is how we roll. It's a real shitty, strung together Kowalski, let's end with the kittens. Give me 1 second to shout out patreon.com/MattBinder. Definitely twitch.tv/MattBinder. With that Prime subscription, if you haven't already. I'm on Twitch again too, aren't I? Oh, that's gonna be weird when it just shows that video. Don't forget to drop that Twitch Prime subscription. Let me get to those. Yeah, where is it? I did like that YouTube kept it going though. I mean, they should give you a way on mobile to end the stream, but I like that. Like if you get cut out of let's say it wasn't the actual internet provider. Let's say my Wi-Fi went down for a second, or I just had to reset my modem. It's so much more convenient for the actual stream just to start from where it left off than to just start a whole new stream where it's me like just talking for 10 minutes saying, "Oh, I can't believe the internet went down." Like on Twitch, it's going to look silly. On YouTube, it's just one big long video, which I actually prefer. All right, let's read these super chats. Renee with a bunch of super chats on the mainstream saying, like the speculator that bought the Wu-Tang record. Oh, you mean, what's his face? Yeah, the Farmer Bro, right. Aaron Landis with a $10 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Tokyo Han says, can't chat too much because of work, but please enjoy your holiday. Don't worry about us. Take care of you first. My prediction of the entire crypto economy crashing stands. By the way, Tokyo Hans was the first person to send that super chat when the live stream started like 2.5 hours ago. Last I checked, Tokyo Hans was still in the YouTube chat. Can't chat too much. David B with a $10 super chat. Matt, here's some money for your AC bill. Left is best. Also, do you like ska music? If not, why are you wrong? Are you kidding? I love ska. I love ska. Slackers, toasters, specials. If you want to go, to more third wave stuff like Less Than Jake, Big D and the Kids Tables. I used to be really into ska. I still like it. Catch 22, Streetlight Manifesto. Oh my God, I used to like so much ska. I can't remember. I'm having a mental block. Planet Smashers are great. Who else? I'm having a. If you want to count Operation Ivy. Which yes, you do. I can't think off the top of my head, but ska, good. Oh, the Boss Tones, obviously. Mifune with a $20 super chat. Matt Binder, MR Crew Air Conditioner Fund donation. How hot did it get in the MR studio for Sam to finally ask for AC? I have not been in the MR studio since January 2020. I don't know if people realize that. I'm actually not in the studio. I know my background with the green screen is very convincing because it looks like I'm in studio. But I have not set foot in the Majority Report studio since January 2020. The first time I met Emma in person was this past the past Majority Report live show in Brooklyn, which was in March, I think. March 2022. So I was working with Emma seeing her face, doing a show with her every week since November 2020, and finally met her in person in March 2022. Tokyo Han says, make sure to take out Goofy properly this time. Oh, right. Yes. Renee with a super chat. Lars von Trier told Polanski the revolution will be smart TV televised. No idea what you're talking about. Renee. Omega with a $20 super chat. Walked by Marky at Chelsea Piers in NYC and froze after I told the person I was with, and they said, that old guy, he needs to dress his age. He's not young anymore. And in disbelief said, excuse you and your whole bloodline. Whoa, jeez. Joseph Martinez, thank you so much. With this, what does this sticker say? I can't read it. It's like it's like a logo. I can't. It's like a super sticker. Rock. I can't see, but $20. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh wait, maybe it's still here. No, it's not. I don't know what it says. I'm sorry. Ugh. Why does YouTube make it so small? I can't read it. I'm sorry. Dakarai25 says with a super chat says, "Hey brother, hope your vacation is dope. Solidarity. Thank you so much." And there was a few more. Oh, Tokyo Hans with a super chat. I did my best to fundraise while you were down. Thank you, Tokyo Hans. Folks, let me check on Twitch really quick if there was any Twitch love. By the time this gets to Kowalski, he can call in. So Kowalski, feel free to call in right now, my friend. Over on Twitch. Hello, Kowalski with the cats to end the week and the last time you guys will see my face live, at least, until the week after next. Dom3L resubscribed with Prime 4-month subscription in a row. Thank you, Dom3L on Twitch. Solana hack episode when? Great job, dude, says Dom3L. Oh, I will get to the Solana hack episode for sure. Zero write-in, subscribe with Prime. Thank you so much. Hey, Kowalski, how are you, my friend?
Not too bad. Wanted to wish you a good vacation and let you know that Doomed on Tuesday was pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
I enjoyed the Ag Talk.
Oh, yes, the Dutch farmers, right? I was thinking of you, and you didn't call in that day, right? Yeah, I totally didn't realize. I mean, I was thinking about you when we were doing the interview, and then in the second half, I guess I got involved with the other calls. But, yes, Kowalski approved.
Yeah, for the most part, I thought it was pretty good. And, yeah, I would say the right wing likes to co-op some real things. The one thing I did notice, though, was the person you interviewed said that the Netherlands has the second largest export of agricultural goods. What she meant to say was the second largest number of exports of agricultural goods by value, because the Netherlands is part of the Benelux region of Europe, which has a massive population, one of the densest in the world, so they have the ability to do greenhouses and stuff, which is what I want us to bring here. And I'm actually kind of surprised that the government there didn't have like alternatives for these farmers that are about to lose some of their farms to like go into, because you could like replace most of the dairy operations that are going to go away with like orchards.
Right.
So.
Right. All right.
Seems like bad messaging.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. All right. It's 1 a.m. here. Thank you, Kowalski, for the call and the cats. I'm disappointed that the call had to come in like this. Unfortunately, we couldn't enjoy a full-blown Kowalski call about an hour earlier because I saw you were trying to call in then. But an absolute pleasure to end with you right here, right now. And of course, people are jumping back on the YouTube. I don't think I have it in me to keep going, everybody. This was not meant to end at 1 a.m.
You're gonna say goodbye to this little face.
Oh, you're doing it to me. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. You should get a you should oh my god, he looked right at the camera. Oh no. Oh, he looks just
Reaching
like
for you, man.
he looks just like my cat Sabu when he was that age. Oh my god.
Yeah, and you've got these three little guys, and then you've got the old man over there.
Oh, look at him. Yeah, he's I wouldn't say he's an old man, but no, I know what you're saying. He looks very
Was
regal.
born in 07.
Oh, he is an old man.
Yeah.
Ah.
At least he's nice, but yeah, I'll leave you with that. Just kittens being kittens.
All right,
Have a good
Kowalski. I
vacation.
better say goodbye before, God forbid, the chat drops again. I mean, the feed drops again. Have a great night, Kowalski.
You too. See ya.
All right, folks. That's the show. I don't think there's any more YouTube live chats. Thanks for sticking around for that 35 to 40 minute internet outage where I couldn't shut off YouTube. I was actually worried about that because I didn't want the live thing on all night. And then I guess I could have shut everything off, but I would still it would have been uncomfortable going to bed knowing that was a lingering issue. And a live stream that was not. I mean, I've run live streams all night when I set up that automated subscriber countdown that I did once or twice, or my yearly. I forgot to do it this past year, but before that, the annual Home Alone Yule log I would do on the stream. But that's meant I would set it up that way to run 24/7. This with the dark that was I didn't want to leave it on that note. So. Especially the last stream for a week-long stretch. So, folks, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Kowalski with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Kowalski. That cup of coffee. Really enjoyed this stream. Again, thank you to my patrons. If you're not a patron, patreon.com/MattBinder. If you can. Don't forget to do the drop that Twitch Prime subscription if you haven't already at YouTube at twitch.tv/MattBinder. I am looking forward to seeing how YouTube handles the live chat for that period of time when we were down. Who should I? What is this respectable? I'll send it to someone who really could, who has even a smaller number of people watching right now. Who should I? Who's on Twitch right now? Who's on Twitch? Let's do this. Let's raid. It's not that many people, but let's do it. Let's throw them to Famous Horse. I see they're on right now. Unless you got someone else in mind, let's throw it to Famous Horse. Pinko the Bear. How many people are watching Pinko the Bear? Have I done Pinko the Bear? Even less people are watching Pinko the Bear than Famous Horse. All right, I see two people. It's Tokyo Hans twice. All right, I'll do Pinko the Bear. I don't think I've done Pinko the Bear before. So let's send these handful of patrons over to Pinko the Bear. They don't got too many people watching, so it seems like they would enjoy every little bit that I could send their way. All right, everybody. Have a great night. I will see you all next time on Doomed and the Scam Economy. There will be content that goes up. What happened? Start raid. It didn't work. Oh, and I will see you all next time. Yeah. What just happened with Twitch? Twitch is giving me problems now. Did I raid him? Did it work? It says you were already raiding Pinko the Bear, but it's not showing up. I guess they'll just automatically send it his way. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a great night. Thank you for all the support. Really appreciate it. Bye.